夏威夷中国城位于火奴鲁鲁市中心。自1779年首批华人抵达夏威夷后，就有人居住在这里，逐渐形成当地华裔主要聚居地。200多年来，经历了火灾、重建等变迁，现在即被列为美国国家史迹名录，是美国8大中国城之一。由于历史悠久，夏威夷中国城及周边的配套和现状已落后于时代。围绕中国城如何既能保持原有历史风貌，又可以进行科学的综合性改造，以适应火奴鲁鲁市的现代化发展，造福中国城居民，成为近年来的热门话题。Rick Blangiardi 市长2020当选火奴鲁鲁市长后，对中国城及周边的现状极为关注。在他的主持下，政府部门积极行动，投入了大量人力、物力、财力，对具体项目进行治理和改造，达到了比较好的效果。在此同时，他还在推动更大规模范围的规划与实施。为此，夏威夷中文电视台专程采访了 Rick Blangiardi 市长，让他来谈谈这方面的情况。
Mayor Blangiardi, the security management and renovation in Chinatown have always been a major public concern in recent years. According to our understanding, City and County of Honolulu, especially you was elected as Honolulu Mayor, has committed to renovate and improve the area surrounding Chinatown. Could you tell us more about this?
Sure, I'll be very happy to tell you about it because we've already 5 years in the making. You know, when we first came into office, the very first thing I did was took our entire cabinet, even though it was during COVID, which was a great outdoor activity so we could all be together, and we walked around all the streets in every block, every side street, and did an assessment of what needed to happen. We were aware of the security issues. We were aware of the homeless problem. We were aware of the drug dealing. We were aware of the fact that the city lacked any security cameras. We were aware of the fact that the police presence needed to be much greater. Over the course of time, we've addressed all of those issues. We now have 37 modern cameras, AI-backed. We increased police protection. We have fixed broken sidewalks. We have paved the streets. We power wash. We invested millions of dollars in Kekalike Mall and put in drainage systems, something that had been long promised, never done. We've just done so many different things in this wonderful, beautiful, historic district that we cherish. In addition to that, we're doing a lot of real estate development to activate the place so we have more people living down there. We have signed ordinances. We now have outdoor dining permitted. You know, we want the restaurants to take advantage of that. That's one of the things that came out of COVID that was a positive. And so I could go on and on, but to tell you the fact that, in my opinion, we've made good strides, but we're not where we want to go yet. And that's what I want to talk to you about now.
What kind of obstacles did you encounter during this process?
Well, you know, for the most part, you know, change is always hard, right? But we found that the community itself was really willing. But the biggest obstacle is what's gotten in our way is the Chinese Cultural Plaza, China Cultural Plaza. And that's because it's owned by a foreign entity that I began writing letters to 4 years ago. I wrote my first letter in January of 22. We came into office in January of 21. And I worked through 3 different consul generals. I have written to the president of Taiwan. I have written to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, trying to call their attention to the fact that this 4-acre parcel that opened in 1974, not part of the historic district, was a place that we had a lot of problems with. And because it was private and because they owned it, we couldn't do anything about it. But it's mostly vacant. It is notorious for being a place for criminal activity, drug dealing, prostitution, homelessness. In fact, most of the facility is now empty. There's only a few merchants left hanging on. It's not a place where people go anymore to gather. In addition to that, it really has blocked our efforts to develop Riverwalk, which is beside the Nuuanu Stream that we own, the city. But the way it's structured and set up that was done a long time ago, we can't even take advantage of this incredible setting. So we are determined in addition to our ongoing efforts to continue to improve Chinatown and the related area. And that includes all the security that's gone into Ala Park, which we've now cleaned up. It looks beautiful. The investments we've made in the millions and millions of dollars right next to that on the other side, Evile, that all will begin. We'll be breaking ground. We've already put everything out to bid. We're excited about what's going to happen. This is truly transformative. It's not happened in the history of our city, or at least for a very, very long time. We're excited about new and improving the quality of life. You know, we have our Skyline Rail will be in town in just 3 years. In fact, very soon we'll be breaking ground on our station in Chinatown. It will be beautiful. That's going to provide a lot more access. But the Chinese Cultural Plaza needs to be dealt with. And we're willing, in going to the table, to do anything that they might want to offer. If they want to sell it to the city and county of Honolulu, we will buy it. If they want to co-develop it, we will bring developers. If they want to develop it themselves, we'll do everything we can to develop it. But that facility, as it stands right now, is obsolete. It's a blight on the city, and I'm determined to do something about it, because no matter what we get done across the street throughout historic Chinatown, if that thing remains in place the way it is, we will not even come close to achieving what is possible.
Mayor Blangiardi, how did you overcome all these challenges? What are your plans and intentions for the future?
Well, like anything, you know, the way we work is that we looked at Chinatown as a problem that had to be solved in a positive way. And so once you decide, you acknowledge you have the problem as opposed to ignoring it, then you have to really make sure you understand it, which is why we've done a lot of study and said, okay, what are the things we could do to improve this incredible piece of real estate with an incredible history, full of, you know, lots of pride and for people and cultural identity. Because, you know, Chinatowns in any major city are very romantic places, right? Here, even more so because of the history and the significance of it, and the fact that we have such a diverse population here and a big Chinese community. So it was really highly motivating for us to tackle the issues. So, you know, so what we did was we stayed focused. Once we understood the problem, at developing solutions. We knew, for example, we had a big homeless problem. Well, we had a ministry down there, River of Life, that had been there for 35 years. They're providing a feeding service, free food. That was bringing in all kinds of people. Their intentions were very good, but the unintended consequences is it brought in a lot of homeless people. They had nowhere to go. They would take the food, and afterwards they would take their trash and throw it everywhere, you know, and just hang around and stay out in sidewalks. And so we, even though people told us we couldn't do it, we negotiated with River of Life, and they've now moved their ministry. That was one of the things. The other things was we looked at the technology that would be available. And like I said, we have 37 cameras. They're all AI backed. This is state of the art that really are meant in part to be a deterrent, because we put up signs all over Chinatown advising people that we were, you know, and that's never been done before. But should somebody do something, what really helps us is now we'll capture it. And then that will help us. In fact, it's already happened a number of times, go and find the people who are doing something wrong, right? That to me was almost a fun problem to solve, because modernizing the city, you know, and providing security cameras, making people feel safe because of these signs and people who live there, that's great. Taking the people off the sidewalks. Plus, we made a lot of arrests down there. We arrested some very serious drug dealers. They're now in jail. We've done, between misdemeanors and whatever, since we started, over 3,500 arrests, okay? That's the police presence. That's the police, even if they're given citations, say you can't do that, okay? So we've tried to clean up our sidewalks. You know, we have a sit-lie rule. We're now today involved in picking up homeless people, even if they don't want to, because we have places to take them. We are allowed to pick up what they call involuntary pickups if we determine that they're a danger to either themselves or to somebody else. We can make that determination and take them in for a clinical assessment And if in fact that's valid, we now have places to put them. So we're not negotiating anymore with what before was very hard. You know, you could just move them out for a little bit, they come right back in. We're taking very permanent solutions. You know, we're encouraging investment, like I said, and we're doing real things. You know, like our crew cleans up. We power wash down there regularly. In fact, I think when I see our morning crews sometimes when I drive through, they're sweeping the sidewalks. We're trying to make it friendly. We're doing everything we can. We've planted trees. You know, we've fixed broken sidewalks. Like I said earlier, we even paved the streets. We're working on the loading zones to help people with, you know, the commercial deliveries. And you know, the feedback I get more and more is people are really surprised and they're really grateful. And it's really fun when you see people surprised because they'll say things like, I never thought this would happen, and you're really doing it. Well, for us, that's really gratifying. That's, you know, promise made, promise kept. But I still, like I said earlier, got a long way to go. And that's why the Cultural Plaza is such a big issue for us, because we have been trying professionally, responsibly, with the authority I have vested in me as mayor, to make contact with a foreign government to ask for their help to deal with something that we know is a blight on our city. I'm not making that up. I've done now walkthroughs lately, and you know, and even in the daytime it doesn't feel safe. At night they have to change it up. It's just not good. And like I said, the Riverwalk is amazing. Not only is that a 50-foot sidewalk, but today if we said, hey, let's build a stream down through from the mountains to the ocean and make it really romantic and curves with a nice rock wall, we'd say we could never afford to do that. That was built over 100 years ago. That is a gift to the city. It's like going up to your attic and finding some old antique that's really a treasure, you know, and you go, wow, we got to clean this up. This is what that's like. That combination of that stream, the Riverwalk, that area, the 4 acres with Cultural Plaza. You know, one of the other things that we did, I'm really proud of, when we first came in, we built senior affordable housing, Honolulu, right there. Remember, the city donated all that land. That project was talked about for more than 20 years. I have video of mayors promising back in 2006 that that was going to get built. That never happened over all that time. Not only did we get it built and it's beautiful, it's fully occupied now and it's safe, you know, and we have security down there as well, but it's right near the Cultural Plaza. And so what we envision for seniors being able to walk and be able to go someplace, you know, and shop and everything, that part of it is still missing. They can go to Chinatown, they can walk a little bit further, but boy, right in the middle of that, the potential of that and what that could mean, not just for the residents of Honolulu, I'm thinking about all the local people, because one of the things I still love about Chinatown, all kinds of people, all kinds of local people, not just the Chinese community, come to Chinatown for so many things. And they go to those shops because they're so unique. And they have products and foods that, you know, really it's a great place to go. You have really hard-working merchants down there too, which is the other part of it. You know, I got to know the Chinese community there, Laotian, Vietnamese, Cambodian, hard-working Chinese people from those areas. They came to this country with great dreams. They work long days. They work 6-7 days a week, tireless. They need to be supported in their efforts to realize their dreams. And, you know, and they're doing good work, you know? And so we want to make it just really good for everybody. This is, and for us too, this is a scalable problem. When you look at Chinatown, and as rich as it is, as much as it has going on for it, we should take this and just make it shine. And that's what we're trying to do. That's why we have a lot more work to do, not just with the Chinese Cultural Plaza, but we're going to be hosting over 50 restaurant owners from China in March. In fact, I'm going to be going to China after that trip. They're coming here, and I'm going to be giving them tours of our own Chinatown. They have a lot of interest. The city owns almost 40% of Chinatown. We have a lot of unleased space. We want to be able to negotiate with them, incentivize them to come here and have some stores open so we could just continue to activate it, both with residents and commercial properties, selling goods and services that would bring people to the area. And the other thing is that I want to say that I'm excited about is the fact that I haven't even mentioned the word tourist, you know? But I know as somebody who grew up as a kid in Boston and what Chinatown meant way back then, who then worked and lived in New York and what Chinatown meant in New York, who then lived and worked in San Francisco and what Chinatown meant to that city, and for that matter, even up in Seattle, that our own here, when people come to Hawaii, it's almost mystical, you know? So when I think about the cruise lines that come here and the people who could be coming, or tourists from anywhere, or even for that matter, local people, when they have guests wanting to take them to Chinatown for an incredible dinner or an incredible shopping experience, the potential of all that is so rich. And we just have to, so what we just have to do is focus on it and not compromise. And that's what we're doing. Honestly, if you talk to the merchants at Kekalike Mall, they're so happy because they used to get flooded out. Of the $6.5 million we put in there, over $4 million was underground. That's where a lot of the money was spent to create the drainage. And we've had a lot of rain since we put those in. It works really good. Protects their stores, makes it easy. The trees are coming in. We've got the lanterns up there a little bit, you know, and it's just going to get better and better.